Hi, today I'm going to do a demonstration of my new Flame King 1 pound refillable cylinder and kit, which I just got last night, and I have it assembled here already. I didn't want to bore you to death with the actual assembly process. Now for this, there is a video online that I will post a link to, and you can watch that yourself because it is the full instructions and the safety precautions about using their kit. And I'm going to compare this to the Mr. Heater 1 pound refill adapter. And this is part number F276172. And we're going to use both, and we're going to compare them, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about which may be of better value over the other, the pros and cons of each. And then plus we're going to go through some safety measures. Plus please stick around to the end. There's something that I do want to share with you on an article that just came to me this week about something that happened with a portable propane heater, and it's terrifying, horrifying, and words just can't explain it. But I would just to put things into perspective about safety using these heaters and propane in general. It is serious. There are rules and regulations regarding it, and always observe your local, your state, and the federal laws regarding refilling propane bottles, transporting, and using propane as a fuel source. That is absolutely necessary. Plus, gloves, safety glasses, safety PPE, personal protective equipment. Now, I'm going to get started here. I'm going to set up the Flame King, and we're going to start with that first. And next we'll do the Mr. Heater valve, and we're going to talk about the two. And I'm going to pause for a moment, and I'll be right back. Okay, this is our 20-pound cylinder set up on the Flame King stand for refilling, and you have this nozzle extension that you attach to the bottle like so, and then there's a valve here that you press down to fill the bottle, and then when the bottle's 80% full, there's a valve on the side that'll start spritzing liquid propane, and then you'll tighten that up, and then you should have a full bottle. But what I'm going to do first is I brought a scale with me, and I'm going to weigh an empty bottle first. Excuse me, I'm going to get a pen. What I'm going to do is weigh the empty bottle, compare it to the full bottle, and then we can get a more exact idea of how much we can really get into these things. You know, they say 1 pound, but that may vary depending on how much you have in here, and just the ambient temperature of the place where you're doing the refilling and everything. Don't need to get into all of that physics, but that's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to weigh this empty Flame King bottle. I'm going to remove the cap, set it on here, and this bottle empty weighs 22 ounces. So I wrote that down. So I'm going to keep that handy. Let's see if you can see that right there. It says 22. And turn that off. Put on my safety glasses. Put on my gloves. It's being cold out here. I just hope my safety glasses don't fog up, because safety glasses aren't very safe if you can't see through them. But I'm going to wear them anyways. So this is our nozzle, and inside the this end here that attaches to your refillable bottle, there's a little tab sticking out that you have to line up with a little groove there. I guess you can see it at the bottom of the nozzle there. That they have to line up in order for it to assemble correctly. So we're going to put this on. Okay, you just do this finger tight. You don't have to kill it, because this threaded part of the adapter is made out of plastic. It's pretty tough, but I would never use a pair of vice grips or something on it. You will split it if you do. And we have to get this lined up correctly. This is a 2mm hex wrench, and with that we open up the it's like a regulator valve that will let you know when this is full, and you want to stand off to the side of it. Oh, by the way, never do this around any kind of open flame or heat source. No smoking near it, no nothing. I mean, I shouldn't have to explain that. That would be, you think that would be common sense, but unfortunately, you know, that just common sense is just fleeting to some people, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it, it seems like. But you know, I'm going to mention it, you know, just so for my own conscience sake that I mentioned it to you people. So anyhow, we press down. Okay, it's leaking. Why is that? And this is why you need to wear gloves, because that really is cold. When liquid propane boils, it boils at a temperature way below freezing, and it can give you frostbite. Let's try this again. Let's get this turned around to where I can find the valve here. Let's open this back up. It's supposed to be liquid fuel coming out, spurting when it's full. Okay, there it is. There it is. And that is cold stuff, people. Yep. Liquid propane, when it evaporates, it turns to vapor, turns into some cold shit. Whew. So yeah, that worked. It took just a little bit of practice, because this is the first time I've used it. I'm doing this in real time. So you guys are getting the very first try on this thing. at least for me anyways. I'm going to remove that. I'm going to turn this back on. And I have 37 ounces. It's a difference of 15. And I'd say that's close enough to a pound. We can be satisfied with that. Make sure your valve is all the way seated on the side of this bottle. I can see that being a potential leak problem with these. But you don't have to kill it. These are made out of brass. It's a soft material. And the reason they make them out of brass is because brass, unlike steel, will not spark if it's impacted by something. Steel, anything that's got iron in it can spark and could create an explosion. We don't need that. Okay, so now we got the first try of the Flame King. That was really handy. That was nice. And really quick too. Next up the bat will be the Mr. Heater refill valve. Be right back with you. Okay, here we have our Mr. Heater refill valve. And this is just a one-piece operation. This is just one simple adapter that I ordered from Cabela's, along with some other accessories for my portable buddy heater. And it cost I think it was $12, around that ballpark. So it's not expensive. And I did use it already, and it is quite convenient. With this, you have to remember that this is left-hand threaded. There was a little bit of residual gas in the nozzle, so that's what that spurts was. And you can use either a 1 1/8 inch combination wrench, tighten it up, and you don't have to kill it, just make it snug, like so. Or a 10-inch adjustable wrench works just fine. You know, this will probably be what I would keep in my gear bag, because you could use it for more than just a 1 1/8 inch size screw thread or whatever. And for the bottle, this is just the opposite. Just clockwise. Just take your wrench, stick that one there, and if you're somebody who has a problem with grip, I would advise using a strap wrench similar to this, and just give it a snug. That label's starting to twist now. There we go, that should be good. See if we can find our safety valve here that we need okay, right there it is. That presents a little bit of a problem if you have to use the valve on the side of the tank. This is going to get in the way. Maybe. So I opened up the bleeder valve. The hex head screw, and you have to flip this one upside down. Open up the valve. Wait for it to do its thing. Take about a minute. Okay, there we go. Shut them off. Close the valve. Well, it went well. Our 20-pound bottle should have got a little lighter, and our 1-pound bottle should have got a little heavier. Put both gloves on because there's going to be residual liquid propane in the nozzle that's going to shoot out just a bit of it, but it might be enough to give me an uncomfortable spritz. There. Let's wait. $35 ounces. So we roughly got 13 ounces of liquid propane in this bottle here. Not as much as the Flame King setup, and that could be because the bottle was mounted horizontally rather than vertically. Therefore, that may have affected it. I don't know. But there you have it. Flame King got 15 ounces, and the Mr. Heater valve we got 13 ounces. So I'm going to put the cap back on that, set it aside. And we take the, make sure this is closed all the way. Oh my gosh, this glove's still turn this clockwise to loosen it. Remember, it's opposite of what we're typically used to. And it is made out of brass. It's can be easily damaged if you mistreat it. Put our dust covers back on it. I'm going to put it back in its package because I think it's just a convenient way to keep things with the instructions. I'm going to put the dust cover back on the bottle. Set him down on the floor. And I will be right back with my thoughts and opinions of the Mr. Heater 1 pound bottle refill valve and the Flame King 1 pound refillable cylinder plus kit. Okay, before I get started with my opinion of these two devices, I would just like to point one thing out that everybody should need to know. This is a Coleman 1 pound propane bottle that you buy from stores like Walmart, Cabela's, Sporting Goods. You just get them off the shelf. They are not refillable. And in a lot of places, it is illegal to refill them. And according to federal law, it's illegal to refill them and transport them. And there is fines up to $500,000 plus jail time if you're caught transporting them. It's forbidden by DOT and federal regulations. And it's just, they were not made for being refilled. They're a lot thinner, they're lighter. I weighed one of these and compared it to the Flame King bottles, and that's why the Flame King bottles are so much more expensive at first, because they are heavier. Their construction is much more suited to being refilled than these. And the Flame King bottles are approved for being refilled. Now, it's your job that if you're going to do propane bottle refilling, it's your job to check them for leaks and to store them safely. And to store them safely means you never do it in your living space or in an enclosed area where people are going to be residing. Just outdoors in a secured location where if one does spring a leak, it can just, vent to the atmosphere and not cause any real trouble. And it can be, the smell of it, you'll spot it pretty quick. But at the end of the video, I'm going to talk about an incident that's absolutely terrible. And I think, I don't like to talk about gruesome things, but I think it's a point that needs to be made. And I'm also going to put a link to an incident that happened back in around 1962 at the Indiana State Fairgrounds, where they had an ice skating presentation, whatever it is, an ice show, with skaters and everything, and they were storing liquid propane tanks under the bleachers inside this building, and it exploded and just killed a bunch of people, and it was an absolute mess. And but I will post a link to that if you want to look it up, as a part of gruesome American history. And now I'm going to get to the point of what do I feel is the more economic, more bang for your buck setup here. Well, to be quite honest with you, if it was me, because sometimes I can be a real cheapskate, I would go with the Mr. Heater refill adapter. It is just simple, one-piece construction. Now, I didn't get as much into a bottle using this as I did this, but at the same time, it was only $12. The Flame King setup with this nice nozzle, it's very impressive, and it's convenient, and it is $65. Now, why would I choose this? Well, because I don't plan on refilling a lot of bottles, but and I just don't like to spend a lot of money. But if you're somebody that has to say, like, refill maybe 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7 bottles in one shot, this would be the way to go. I mean, you set the tank on the stand, you put your little, looks like a spout on here, and you can leave it set up, and you can knock out all these bottles in just a couple of minutes. Whereas with this Mr. Heater valve, you're going to be doing a lot of turning it upside down, fumbling around with the Allen wrench to tighten up to release the valve on the side of the bottle here, and you're going to be flipping the tank back over. And it's just for somebody who's maybe not in the greatest physical shape in the world, and you know, they just don't want to go to all that hassle of maneuvering this 20-pound tank around. This would be the best setup. But as for what you would want and what you would need, you be the decider on that. Now, I would like to get to the last part of the video, and that is about some propane safety. Okay, this is the latest edition of Pennsylvania Outdoor News, dated December 22nd. It was just released this week. I just got it in the mail. And on the front page, there's this article, and can you read that? Hunter burns in stand is a lesson for others. A Fulton County man trapped after propane heater suddenly ignites a fatal blaze. Now, I'm not going to read this entire article, but this man was out November 25th hunting, and his wife went along with him. Apparently he was a little bit older, and he had some mobility issues, but he was able to get into a tree stand and get into position. And what he did was he took a propane heater, and I am assuming it's something like a portable buddy heater like I have and what a lot of people have, and he was trying to get it lit, and somehow it burst into flames and he burned to death, and he couldn't escape it. And his wife was there and tried to help him get out of that horrible situation, but it was impossible. I'm not going to mention any names or get into too many details, just out of respect for the family. I mean, the trauma, especially for the woman, has to be horrible. So please, especially this time of year, be safe with this stuff. And, you know, it's no joke. You know, willful ignorance and complacency breed contempt, and it can also lead to horrible disaster. And my hearts and prayers go out for the surviving members of this family, and words just can't describe what that must have been like for this lady, you know, to have her husband go up in flames like that and not be able to do anything about it. But unfortunately, that is a sad reality of the world we live in. And it can be, these incidences can be reduced if people would just think ahead of time a little bit more. And I'm sure that guy didn't get up in the morning and think to himself, I'm going to barbecue myself. No, that's not human nature, at least not in the right frame of mind anyways. So with that last note, I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, or whatever holiday it is you wish this time of year, and please be safe. Have a good one.